sail on the sea, with the keys to the cage and the devil to pay, we lay to feed.
Psalms chapter 107, starting at verse 23. They that go down to the sea in ships, that do business in great waters, these see the works of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, and his wonders in the deep. I want to give our praises and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash, forgive me the spirit, to do this lesson. In this lesson I'm going into, the Lord wants us to know that he controls it all. He wants us to believe that he controls it all. Okay? Period, man. Okay? We have to believe that he is in all. Okay? That's part of your walk. When you say you believe in the Lord, I trust in the Lord, I have faith in the Lord. Okay? You got to have this mindset. You have to grow it. Okay? Let's go back. Psalms 107, verse 23. Let's read it again. They that go down to the sea in ships, that do business in great waters, these see the works of the Lord and his wonders in the deep. For he commandeth and raises the stormy wind, which lift up the waves thereof. Right, he controls it. Okay, and there's a reason why I'm starting here, because it connects to the story of the water going on the ship. Okay, it connects with when you ask the Lord, you got to ask in faith and not be wavery. Okay, like a stormy sea, right? But I'll read that in a minute. Verse 25. For he commandeth and raises the stormy wind, which lift up the waves thereof. So all the people that work out in the deep seas, they see all that, man. And they're fearful, man. Okay, they can feel that power. They can smell that power. Okay, they can see it. Verse 26. They mount up to the heaven. They go down again to the depths. Their soul is melted because of trouble. Their soul is melted because of trouble. What trouble? Okay, impending death. They're thinking about death. They're like, man, okay, think about it. Those guys who work deep in the sea, man, they be going for months at a time. Okay, so when they seeing those things and they seeing the works of the Lord and how crazy it can get, okay, and how troubled the waters can get, they like, oh, shit. You know, that ain't no joke. Verse 27, they reel to and fro and stagger like a drunken man and are at their wits' end. Frightened, man. Okay, so just imagine the story when the disciples were on the ship and what they saw. Okay, keep thinking about that. Verse 28, it says, then they cry unto the Lord in their trouble, and he bringeth them out of their distresses. He maketh the storm a calm, so that the waves thereof are still. Right, showing that he controls it all. Okay, because even the guys who work out there in the deep, if it ain't their time, it ain't their time. Okay, so the Lord will make the waters trouble just to show his power. They get scared and he'll calm it down. Okay, or he can drown them. Okay, if it's a judgment. Okay, but it's all set up through Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay, verse 29. He maketh the storm a calm, so that the waves thereof are still. Then are they glad because they be quiet. So he bringeth them unto their desired haven. Okay, now, to those that believe in him, how much more are we supposed to not be scared? Okay, think about that, because Yahushai, which I'm going to get in a minute. Matter of fact, first let's go here. Let's go to James chapter 1. Let's start at verse 5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering, for he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. Okay, in your mind. Okay, so now your mind is a sea. You don't know. You hear, because waters, man, when they get out of control, they be going everywhere, man. So your mind is like a sea that's going everywhere, and you're not settled in that faith. You're not settled in that belief. Okay, do you believe he controlled the waters? Do you really believe he controlled everything? Well, then we're supposed to grow and act like it. Okay, we're supposed to grow and act like it. And if your own habits, unhealthy habits, are making your conscience defiled, then you got to fix that. Okay, so that you can stand, so that your faith can stand. All right. Verse 7, for let not that man think he shall receive anything of the Lord. Right. You're not going to receive nothing because Yahweh Bashim Yahushai expects you to believe fully, 100%. Not 90, not 70, 100, not 99, 100. No doubt. That's why Yahushua taught that a lot. Okay, when he was on the scene. Don't doubt at all, only believe. Okay, verse 8. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Right. You're not rooted in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay, you're unstable like a wavery sea. Okay, out of control. Okay, now, when you go into that story in Mark chapter 4, okay, I'll get it. All right, so you ask yourself, you say, well, if the works of the Lord in the seas and the waters, when the storm hit, if it's so frightening, why did Yahushua expect us to have faith, expect the disciples to have faith, okay, during that time? If naturally, as a man, you're supposed to be scared of that. But with Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, who could be against you? Because he controls everything. You got to remember the scriptures that you read, man, and apply it to everything. To everything. All right. The difference is you believe in the Lord. You understand the Lord. You have learned. Okay. You have understanding. All right. Let's go to Mark chapter 4. Start at verse 35. And the same day when the evening was come, he said unto them, let us pass over unto the other side. And when they had sent away the multitude, they took him even as he was in the ship, and there were also with him other little ships. Verse 37. And there arose a great storm of wind. Okay, not a regular storm, a great one. Okay, so imagine those guys who work out there in the seas and they're frightened, man. They're like, oh shit, I'm about to die, or I could die. You know, they're sitting there thinking about their wives and their kids, you know, because they're doing that to sacrifice, to take care of a family. Those men. Shit, who knows what those women are doing, but that's a whole nother conversation. Okay, the point is, it's not a good situation. It's a very, you know, thin situation, man. Okay, because it's dangerous. Verse 37, it says, and there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship. Okay, the waves beat into the ship. Okay, think about that. That's not regular. That's not calm, right? It says so that it was full now. The ship was full of water, man. Think about that. Wow. Verse 38. And he was in the hinder part of the ship, talking about Yahushai, asleep on a pillow. And they awake him and said unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? Man, do you see the situation we in? Okay, but Yahushai understood what? That the Father controls everything, and he's there to teach them that. Okay, when you're dealing with Yahweh Bashim Yahushai for real, man, you don't understand the power that's behind you. You don't understand the power of it. You got to understand the power of it, okay? Versus somebody in the world in that same situation. They should be frightened, okay? Because who they going to call upon? They don't know the Lord. They can say Jesus, God, all they want. Okay, now, if it ain't their time, it ain't their time. But you know what I'm saying overall. Verse 37, and he arose and rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, peace, be still. Man, imagine that. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said unto them, why are you so fearful? Now, that's the point. Why are ye so fearful? Now, you don't think Yahushua understands the situation in a mortal body? The average mortal man is going to be scared, man. Okay, but he's teaching them not to be scared because you with me. You believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay, I have not given you the spirit of fear, but of a sound mind and power. So we got to use that power. We got to grab that power. That power can be grabbed. Okay, it's all in your mind. The war is in the mind. It's spiritual. Okay, you Israelites, you're supposed to be spiritual. So it says, why are you so fearful? Now I read in Psalms, okay, how fearful they was, right? So it says, why are you so fearful? How is it that you have no faith? So right there is key. Okay, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, when you were called to this truth, he expects you to see through the things, to believe on him. That's the power. Because if you're able to do that, that's the power right there. That's the power, man. And now you are proving to the Lord, you are proving yourself that what? You believe in them for real, no matter what you see. You walk by faith and not by the sight. Okay, let's read it again. And he said unto them, Yahushua spoke this, why are ye so fearful? How is it that you have no faith? Now think about your situations in your everyday life. If Yahweh put it in Yahushua to tell him that, in that situation, the ship was filled with water, man. It was a great storm. If he expects them to have faith in that situation, how much more so in your little situations, in your everyday life? Okay, I preach one day at a time. So one day at a time, how much more so? Do you see how you really got to learn? You got to read and you got to apply it. Okay, you can't just skim over this story, man. You got to really understand. All right, verse 41. And they feared exceedingly and said one to another, what manner of man is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him? Right, a man of the Lord. Okay, the first begotten son. Okay, the top. Okay, the first begotten son, man, a well-behaved son, an obedient son, and the inward man. See, Yahushua didn't have problem with faith and believing because he knew the Father. Now he's trying to get us to know him through him. You see? So we can follow his footsteps. Okay, so meditate on this lesson in the spirit. Have faith, man. That's the point. Really think about that, man. Okay, the shit that you go through every day, day in and day out, is it really on that level, on the ship, with waves and a great storm in the middle of the sea? No. Okay, and even if it is, you got to do what? Okay, you got to display what's written. Okay, you got to learn from what's written and apply it in that situation. So with that, I hope you're edified. I'm going to give our praises and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash, forgive me the spirit to do this lesson. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to your Akamah that is doing the truth and all sincerity. Shalom.